Hello all, welcome to oodlescoop tutorials. My name is Koushik. In the previous class we had studied about how to create a JFrame and add a few components to it with the layout manager being set to null and adding few labels and text fields. So just to remind you, let me run this application and show how this looks. So this is the application that we created. Now in today's session we are going to add an action listener to this button. That is, on click of this button it should perform some task. So let us see that. Now what I'll do is, at this location, after I add the button, I'm going to add the action listener. Now I'll take object dot add action listener. So once I add the action listener, there are different types of listeners for a particular JFrame. Here we are going to add action performed. That is, if an action is performed on that particular object, that is JButton, it is going to do some operation. So let us try that. I'm going to create a new action listener. See, we have to create this action listener within the parenthesis of the method add action listener itself. So it is a part of that entire method call. All right. So new action listener. Next, public void action performed and action event E. Okay, so this is the method that we are going to create. See, we are getting some errors here. The method is of type abstract, it is not applicable, and import awt.event.listener. So all these things will have to import something called as java.awt.event. So if we import that, this error is going to go, and we have to import action listener as well. Now that removes both the errors. Right. So let us try to access these input fields that a user has given and try to display it on the console. Now what I'll do, I'll take a string book name is equal to text book name dot. See, here you have different methods for getting the contents of a text box. So here I have get text, which will fetch me the text that is present in the text box. Next, string author is equal to text author dot get text. Next is string ISBN is equal to text ISBN dot get text. Next is string publisher is equal to text publisher dot get text. So all I'm going to do here is I'll just print it on the system's console. So I'm going to give book name space and book name. Next is author and author string system.out.println ISBN and the string. Next is publisher this is the publisher. So whatever I enter into these text box values, I'm just going to print it to the console here. So let me run this application. Run as Java application. Book name I will give as Java J2EE. Author is my name. ISBN, I'll just add a random ISBN. Publisher is oodlescoop. Now if I click on submit on the console, I'm going to get these values displayed. See, as you can see, the book name, the author, ISBN and publisher I am getting. Now there is another way of using this action listener. So if I don't want to add the code here, I can shift it to a method. So if I shift it to a method, I can modularize this piece of code, so I can separate it out from writing the bulky piece of code in the same method. But there are certain things that will have to follow. So let us see what we should do in order to make this action listener as a separate method. Now see, I'll remove this part. All right, I'll remove this part and I'll just give it as this. If I give this, it is going to throw an error. So what is that error? It cannot use in the static context, which means as I have written the code inside a public static void main, it is a static method. So I'll not be able to use this in the static context. So I'll have to create another method, place this entire piece of code there and access that method as an object. So let me just select this code and create a method. Extract a method. So I will give create GUI. If you want, you can see the preview. So this is how the code looks. It gives you a preview of the code and I'll click OK. Now here you have create GUI, which is already called, but I'll have to create an object and then run this code. So what I'll do is I'll say book manager is equal to new manager and manager dot create GUI. Now this has automatically created in the static context, so I'll take out this static keyword. Now I don't have any warnings here, as you see. Now there is one more error which says the method add action listener is of type abstract and it is not applicable, which means that I'll have to create a action listener method in order to implement it. So what I'll do, I will go to the class and I will say implement action listener. There'll be some unimplemented methods here, so I can just add the unimplemented methods, which will give me action performed code stub, and now that removes the error that was appearing here. So what I'll do, I'll just remove this. I'll change the action event and I will say button pressed. Let me just run it and show you the output that I am getting, and then later we'll have to reform this code a little bit so that I have to access all the text field values. So I'll just run it and I'll say Java J2EE, the author name, ISBN and the publisher. If I click on submit, I am getting button pressed, but when I try to access these text field values, it is not available because all these text fields were created inside the method. Hence the scope of that variable ends here, that is the object ends here. So what I'll have to do, I'll have to create all these text fields global. So what I'll do, I'll just take it here and say null. I'll remove this text field declaration and I'll do this for all the text fields. Well, there is no rule that you'll have to make this as null, because Java is good in handling these kind of null pointers. But if you handle it by yourself, it is a good practice. So I'll just remove this, and now I'll have text ISBN. I have text ISBN is equal to null. I'll remove this. Next you have text field publisher. Again, text field publisher is null. I will remove the text field publisher. Rest everything remains the same. I'll just remove this for now and start adding the string to it. Right, book name text book name dot, as if we already know the method, it is just get text. So next is author is equal to text author dot get text string ISBN is text ISBN dot get text. String publisher is equal to text publisher dot get text. As performed previously, we are just going to print it onto the console. So you have book name plus book name author is author ISBN is ISBN. Next you have publisher So I hope we have covered all the components. Let me run this application and see if I am getting the values. Java J2EE Koushik ISBN and publisher. If I click on submit, see, as you can see, whatever details were given here in the text box is being appeared in the console. Thank you. So if you like our tutorial, please like this video and share and subscribe to our channel. Please visit our website in www.oodlescoop.com for more content. Also, the link to the website is given below in the description. In our next tutorial, we'll see how to save these values into the database. That is, after the submit button, let us try to save these values into a database. Thank you.